Guys, our first full day in Greece did not disappoint. We were in Athens, so of course we had to go to the Acropolis. But this part of our trip almost didn't happen, so stay tuned for a crucial tip for any visit to Athens. Our hotel had an amazing breakfast buffet, so we enjoyed that before heading out for the Acropolis. I thought it was so cool that they had a honeycomb. Because the closest metro station didn't seem all that close, and we knew we'd be doing a ton of walking today, we decided to go ahead and take an Uber straight to the Acropolis. I hated to see all the graffiti, but it was pretty pervasive. Here you can also see how much gas cost. We had our Uber driver just basically drop us off at the base of the Acropolis, which in hindsight wasn't the best decision because we didn't really have a plan, as our Acropolis tickets were timestamped for a later entry that morning, but we weren't really sure about traffic and we were paranoid about missing our entry time, so we just decided we would walk around the grounds, which were beautiful. It ended up being really cool because we got to walk around the backside of the Parthenon, saw some things we would have otherwise missed, and as somebody who really got into Greek mythology when I was in high school, I was just kind of nerding out and just being there and seeing it, even at a distance. Okay, we haven't even been inside the Parthenon yet, and I already know that I want to come back here. This is a theater that is still in use as a theater, so I would love to come and see a show here. Later, once we enter the Acropolis, I'll be able to show you the inside of this theater.
Feel old.
What?
Does it feel old? How old does it feel?
Feels really old.
It's the oldest rock you've ever touched. It's crazy.
This is a street, and then right up there, the Acropolis. And we read that it's very slippery, and I'm telling you it is. There are a lot of old people walking around, making me super nervous. And they've added grooves into the rocks, it looks like, for extra traction, but it's still pretty slippery.
That's the Greek flag. That is a museum, one of two museums about the Acropolis. This is kind of on the backside of the Acropolis. Lots of graffiti. There's lots of graffiti all around Greece. But it was worth the walk to walk around, to make the full walk around the Acropolis. Since it's on a hill, you see pretty much all of Athens. So we're contemplating going up to that later today. Let me try to zoom in a little bit. It's a monastery on top of a hill. You can either walk it, which is like 600 steps, or there's a funicular that goes up there. And that's actually the highest point in Athens, from what I understand. The Acropolis is on the second highest point.
So this is a cool playground close to the Acropolis. They've tried to incorporate the playground equipment into the natural olive grove. Hey, John.
Hey. So Becca is going to go down the slide with the wall of the Parthenon in her background. Where else can you do this? Thank you.
Check out this little pathway.
So this is a little church. We're just like 100 feet down from the top of the Acropolis, where we just walked up on that little trail. Beautiful.
You just see little bits of history everywhere. An old university, a really old church that looks like it's still in use. This is just the front of somebody's home, and they've put in glass so that you can see that there's like history underneath them. It's amazing to me that people go about their daily lives, they live and they worship in the shadow of the Parthenon.
Trying to walk around the entire Acropolis. We've wondered how they do the work on it up there, because there's scaffolding and everything, and there's a construction elevator on the backside of the Acropolis right there.
Apparently Paul preached from these rocks at some point. There are some stairs to get up there, but the rocks themselves are very slippery. They've been worn down by so many people climbing on them. People were getting what I thought to be dangerously close to the edge I stayed far away, so you probably can't tell how severe the drop-off would be in some place, but this is a very treacherous little area. You definitely want to get your tickets online in advance, otherwise you'll be standing in line and may find that they've sold out. Your ticket will specify an arrival time, and I think you have like 15 minutes before or after that to come in, but people seem to line up well in advance of even that early arrival. And as promised, here is the other side of that theater that they're still using. I just think it would be incredible to experience a concert here. Okay, guys, this is the moment I've been waiting my whole life for. Like, I cannot express how excited I was. And just also note that this is a crowd in the off season, so I can't imagine what it's like in the busy summertime. We definitely lucked out with gorgeous weather for this day. We were there in mid-October. It was beautiful. And since they control the entry times, I didn't find that the crowds were that bad. Of course, it would be great to have it all to yourselves. The underside here reminds me of Legos. One of the things we did that greatly enhanced our trip to the Parthenon was we downloaded the Rick Steves audio guide. So you might notice our AirPods in some of the pictures. It told more about the construction and how much of the stone was brought in from like 16 miles away, talked about the cost of the construction, how the timing of the renovation is taking longer than the original construction, that the Parthenon actually used to have a roof with actual gardens on it, that there was a lot of artwork inside that's now housed in some different museums. Something that fascinated me was the layers of history represented, because this was used as a temple to ancient gods, but then at some point was used as a Christian church, then as a Muslim mosque, and they actually even stored munitions inside it at some point. And then when it was attacked, it caused a big explosion, which caused a tremendous amount of damage. So I highly recommend that you download the guide so that you know what you're looking at. Otherwise, it's just looking at a bunch of old rocks. We also recommend that you walk to the far end of the top of the hill, even though there aren't as many ruins up there. You'll get some great vantage points of the city and also back toward the ruins. There's also supposed to be restroom facility up there, but we did not see it. And even though I think the forecast was for like low 70s that day, up on top of that hill, we got very warm. We had brought water with us, but we wish we'd brought electrolytes. Also note, you are not supposed to bring food. We did see a family getting scolded for feeding their children a snack. This is the handicap lift, but honestly, if you have mobility issues, it would be a very challenging sight. The longer we stayed, the more people just kept rolling in, so I cannot imagine being up there in the heat of the summer with the crowds. Your ticket is a timed entry, but you can stay as long as you want, so by the end of the day, it could get a lot more crowded. This bottled water machine was near the exit, but it didn't seem to be working, so I would definitely bring water with you. Also, I had no trouble using my selfie stick. I didn't know if it would be allowed. Oh, the Acropolis. We had known that you could get tickets online, but we had a couple of days that maybe would work for the Acropolis. We were trying to wait until closer to the time so we could check the weather to pick a better weather day. Our friends who were here earlier, she texted and said, hey, when we got here, they were sold out for 3 days. And so then we kind of panicked and we're like, okay, we're just going to make our best guess. Went ahead and bought our tickets. And some time slots, you have entry times that you can go in, so your ticket's timed. You can stay as long as you want, but you have to be there within that window. And several morning slots were already sold out for the days that we had as options. So that's a good tip, is to make sure to go ahead and buy those early, because they have started to cap how many people. I think it's 20,000 a day now.
Yeah, that's like 2,000 an hour, 20,000 a day or something like that.
So, you know, you pretty much will want to do that in advance if that's a must see, which I think for most people would be.
Seems like it.
Statuen drauf und in der Mitte war Athena abgebildet.